Why don't you want to be in my videos anymore? He's too cool for the vids. Hey everyone, this is Rachel at Moonlight Library. Welcome back. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe to get like 2 videos a week, I guess, as long as I have time. School is crazy. Okay, so today I was thinking that I would compare, do it like this and that, do this and that, do this and that. That's my plan. So today I was thinking, I really like miniseries or limited series, whatever you want to call them. I don't think there's a difference. Is there a difference? Please tell me in the comments if there is, because I didn't look into it. I want to compare books to miniseries. If you like this miniseries, read this book, or if you like this book, read this miniseries. If you like this book, watch this miniseries. I wrote a list of all my favorite miniseries, and I was like, if I can find a book that I've read that's like that, then I will list it. If not, it will stay on the list, but will not be said until the end when I ask you if you have any good recommendations for books to read if I like that miniseries. Please recommend to me too. Thank you. Also, throughout the video, let me know if you have good recommendations off of what I recommend. Let's do recommendation tag. Hey there. The first one is the show, the HBO miniseries, Sharp Objects. That's with Amy Adams. Wow. Woman, alcoholic, struggling, a lot of self-harm and stuff like that. And she's a reporter. She is tasked to go back to her hometown to kind of look into some murders that are happening and report on them. But her editor's more like, go back to your hometown to kind of come to terms with your childhood and your rearing. It is deep, it's impactful, it's short, it is scary, it's weird, it's got an ending that you're like, whoa there. It's based off of Gillian Flynn novel, Sharp Objects, which I have not read. I did read Gone Girl, so that's not going to be the comparison here though. I did really enjoy it. I thought it was just wonderful. And the way it's acted and the way the transitions happen between her as a kid to her as an adult and her family, and there's so much creepiness and her mom, everything is just strange going on. And it's kind of like a murder mystery, but stylized, yeah. Style. What I recommend to you, if you like Sharp Objects, is gonna look like just a book that has nothing on it because I lost the cover, is The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. Some people say that this one can be a little bit boring, but you know what? It is Southern town, murder mystery, daughter solving. This is a child trying to solve a mystery of her brother when she was just a baby. Her brother was found hanging from a tree. And when she's 11 or so, she decides she's going to solve what happened to my brother. And it is as weird as to be expected. It has an ending that you're like, wait, what? It's, it has the same kind of tone to it. Someone solving something close to home, kind of. Because it is at home. So this is definitely my recommendation for that. And Donna Tartt is just a gem. There you go. Next one. If you enjoyed the miniseries of Watchmen, which was originally an Alan Moore graphic novel, as we all know, this is actually more of it's a continuation years later, set in Tulsa, Oklahoma, of Watchmen, and it's kind of how the world has changed, and it has this feeling and presence of being nowadays in general, where there's racism, there is all sorts of struggle with the police and stuff like that, and wow, politics, everything, but with superheroes, and it is boom. It hits you. It hits you. You'd think I would recommend, I do recommend you read Watchmen as well, because it's an amazing graphic novel and I've read it multiple times, but I'm going to recommend Transmetropolitan. This is actually the 5th one. I don't have the first one. I actually borrowed this a long time ago from someone, and we don't see each other anymore, so I still have it. If you watch this, you can have it back. But this is like this weird journalist, strange city. It has kind of a vibe that's similar in this like kind of America, but really not. I mean, this one, it goes a little rougher and a little harder than Watchmen. It is crazy. Oh my god. So the art in it, I'll give you a little glimpse. What? You're following Spider Jerusalem on different like kind of little vignettes of what he's doing. It's politics, it's all sorts of like human rights and stuff like that, but in this weird cyber reality of the future. Wow. I think that people should read this. It is so strange, and I don't hear people talk about it much. And Spider Jerusalem is crazy. He is a wild. I mean, look at this guy. I'm like, I want those glasses. A rectangle and a circle. So cool. But if you like Watchmen, I think you should read this. It is a very strange one. And it's kind of in the vein of like older, non-traditional superhero graphic novels. There you go. Next up, Maniac, which was a Netflix miniseries with Joe Hill and Emma Stone, and it is, whoa, these two people, it's like 2 separate storylines of how they end up going into this test trial for this weird medication thing that, you like go into your like subconscious and like all these weird stories, like episodes that are like, wait a second, why are we all of a sudden here? Like, what is going on? How do these people converge? It's all over the place. But every episode, towards the beginning, it's like following a line almost, and then it starts like moving you in a way that is completely unexpected. And you're like, this is just wildness. It is, whew, yeah. I can barely explain this one to you, and I wish I could, but the colors are so vibrant, and it is a piece of beauty. A lot of people, I feel like I've tried to introduce people to it, and they watch a couple episodes, and they're like, what is going on? I don't get this. And I'm like, you have to keep watching. Just get to the end. Oh my god. And I forgot Justin Theroux's in it. And that's weird. That's really weird. So, yeah. It's like this weird futurist, not really even futuristic, but just like mildly alternate reality sort of thing. So, Friday Black by Donna, Kwame, Adjei-Brenyah is this weird short story collection, one of my favorite books. This has that weird vibe, that strange aesthetic, but it's also about race, and it is like very poignant, and but it goes into it in a weird way. Like there's a cannibalism section, there's like a weird murder theme park one that's like racial violence murder theme park. Ugh, what? And afterlife dead people thing. There's this weird one about Black Friday sales. And I feel like they both have the same aesthetic in strangeness. I wish this could be made into like a mini series where each episode is the short story. That's a good idea. Why don't they do that? I would watch that, you know? Just coming up with good ideas here. Be sure to hit me up if you want to talk about this, any producers or whatever, Netflix. That's it for that. The next one is let's go to a completely different realm. Completely different. We're gonna do Looking for Alaska miniseries, and based off of John Green. Wow, most of my stuff is also based off of books, and usually books that I've read. Usually. So this one is like coming of age, teenager, kind of just struggling with the normal coming of age stuff in different ways, and it brings up some really good questions and stuff about like what is life, what's the point, and all of that. Also, I was just really I dove into that. I should rewatch that. That would be pretty good. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the story. I thought it was actually better than the book, to be honest, because I don't think I was the biggest fan of the book. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like, this is the best book I've ever read. Best John Green ever. But the show was really good. It was funny. It was like sad. It hit a lot of points. So I'm going to recommend that you read the manga series. It's actually just 2, so I guess it's a manga duology. And that's Orange by Ichigo Takano. This one has the same sort of like trigger warning suicide going on and coping with depression and coming of age and kind of looking back on how things happened as an outsider from that depression, like someone who has a friend that is depressed. So this one is, this guy starts going to this school that this girl goes to, and he's very depressed. She gets a note in the mail, this letter, that has like multiple pages, and it's from herself in the future, and it's saying, this is how you save your new friend, because he is going to commit suicide, and this is how you save him. But then it also is like, can you actually, it's not really up to you to save someone from their depression, because depression isn't something that you as an outsider can fix. It's not a fixable thing that you can come in and be like, I don't want you to be depressed anymore. So she's trying to give him a happier life, but you can't fix someone, It's not something that you can really do. Especially like knowing people as I do that suffer from depression. And you look at Looking for Alaska, he's trying, in a way, he wants to fix her problems. Well, you can't fix her because she's a person and she's struggling with these things. I think it's a good comparison. So if you like one, watch or read the other. Totally different realm. Let's go to a different place. Is Good Omens. This is End of the World. It was originally written by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. And for this, I'm going to recommend a lot of graphic novels. You're going to find out that it's primarily graphic novels if you haven't figured it out already. Because, whoop, there's my secret. This one it's funny, it's weird, it's fantasy, but it's real world. It has angels, it has demons, it has everything going on. I've never read the book. I probably should, but I enjoyed the show, maybe because I read the book, but also I just enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice pacing. I thought it was weird. I thought that the one angel had like really cool glasses, or the demon. So for this, here we go. Oh gosh, this is heavy. I'm gonna recommend Neil Gaiman's Sandman because this has a very dynamic and like stretching universe, kind of like Good Omens. Good Omens is one piece, like it's just one thing, but this kind of spans, and if you like spanning weird fantasy with like gods and stuff like that, Sandman's it. This is the first volume of the omnibus, if you want to see a sneak peek inside. Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of blood. Okay. So my favorite character is Corinthian. Sandman, like, it follows a lot of different stuff. I'm going to stop holding this. It's very heavy. Follows a lot of different plot lines and a lot of characters, but your main character is Sandman himself, Morpheus, and he's the bringer of dreams and stuff like that, and the kind of god of the dream world. It's 11 or 13 or 12 volumes. I don't know. That was a random order of numbers that I think it might be that many volumes. And it is beautiful. It's wonderful. I cried. I had feelings towards it. They're like stories within stories. It's so spanning. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I think they're both. Yes. If you've never read a Neil Gaiman graphic novel, Sandman's it. Go for it. Thank you. Next up, 10th Kingdom, which is funny. Look, I'm just going to hold the book up. So, this is... Let me take the sticker off. So this is the novelization of the miniseries. This miniseries is from like maybe the 80s or I think the 90s. So it's kind of old and stuff, but it's this daughter. I'll put up the thing. It's this daughter and father who end up in a fairy tale land kind of on accident, and what happens there, and it's like the regular fairy tale land of like Snow White and all of that, but it's been taken over by like ogres and goblins and giants and everything, and it is so good, and it is, oh my god, the romance in it was so weird but also lovely. It was just, oh my god, my heart was so full, and I loved it so much, and I loved all the characters, and the story is so wonderful. I think everyone should watch it. So, if you like that, or if you didn't, I was going to recommend Fables. Fables by Bill Willingham. And I've read most of these. I read up to, okay, not most, because I only read to volume 13, and I think they're like 20-something. So, here's a little sneak peek inside. This is all the fables. So it's like Snow White, Prince Charming, Big Bad Wolf, Little Boy Blue. Everyone were kicked out of Fableland, and they're living in New York. I think Once Upon a Time was like supposed to be based off this, or it basically ripped it off, if not, because it's like that, but so much better. Sorry, Once Upon a Time. I mean, I enjoyed it, but not completely. But this is just a wonderful story that spans so much, and oh my gosh, I remember the battle, I think it was War and Peace, or The Good Prince. That volume made me cry because they can take a character and it was so beautiful, so wonderful. I had so much fun reading these. I ended up stopping at a point where a lot of people did drop off, and I keep meaning to go back. I have a friend that did end up picking it back up because he also fell off where I fell off, or around there maybe a little before, and he was like, yeah, pick it up again. And I was like, I will, I swear I will. So I swear I will, because I had so much fun reading these. They're like epic, you know? The characters have complexity. The first one isn't the best, but they really do end up ranking up. Oh, I was also going to recommend a second one for this, real quick. A Wild Ride Through the Night by Walter Moers. This one is, I don't know, if you just like fantasy and like kind of fable-like things, it's fun. It's one of those books that has like drawings and stuff throughout it, and it's pretty fast to read, and it's like you're going through this kind of slumberland. It's magical. So, just a magical, hello, how do I bring this up ever to you? This is me doing it. Please read it. It's wonderful. I really want to read more of his stuff. He's a German author, and so, Next up, a little weird miniseries, because it's also a cartoon. Cartoon Network, Over the Garden Wall. Two brothers are going through, it's Halloween night, and they're going through the woods, and they go over a garden wall, and all of a sudden they're in this weird land they have to go on this quest to figure out how to get home. And it's so magical and cute, and the singing is wonderful, and also oddly creepy, and it twists you back and forth, and it's only about an hour and something minutes. So watch it. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's cute, it's yep. And for that, I would recommend that you read Howl's Moving Castle by Diane Wynne Jones. It's also about a girl who ends up in a world that's unlike her own, where she ends up living with a wizard, and, you know, hello, they're cute together, but he's like, you can't, you know? And this isn't making sense anymore, but I don't care, because I think it's wonderful. And yes, they did make a movie. It's a Miyazaki movie. That's good too, but definitely read this. It's so good. I have a calcifer tattoo. Where do I have a calcifer tattoo? Right there. Okay, you can't see it. We're not doing this right now, but I recommend it. Watch it. Read it. It's wonderful. Sophie. That's her name. The last one is kind of a random one. It's Chernobyl. Chernobyl, an HBO miniseries. And it is very short. And it's about the explosion at Chernobyl. The Chernobyl explosion in Russia that happened like the Cold War. I think it was in the 80s that this happened. And the whole nuclear meltdown and what happens inside of like the towers or like the nuclear facility, and how the government is like trying to cover it up, and what the scientists do, and how they like relay with the government, and how they have to go through all of these loopholes and stuff to get it so that they can make it so they realize that this is a problem that you can't just pretend isn't happening. So yeah, it's wonderful political. What? So I'm going to recommend Blindness by Jose Saramago. And that's also about nothing like that. But these people start going blind, and the government controlling a situation, and how a government can like do things incorrectly, especially when something like massive is going on. So that's a very light synopsis of that. There you go. It's wonderful. I'm saying wonderful a lot. So, other one that I will recommend for this is 5 Days at Memorial by Sheri Fink. And that, it's about Memorial Hospital during Hurricane Katrina, and how one of the doctors euthanized multiple people, and I think she got away with it. It's very sad what happened, and it's just a wild ride of something going extremely wrong, that there should be procedures in place for these sorts of scenarios, where procedures were they followed? No. So follow procedures, guys. That's what I'm coming to. That's my conclusion here. And that's what I believe. So, lastly, I'm going to tell you the miniseries that didn't make it, and that you can recommend things to me, because I enjoy them, and you'll get 2-second synopsis for each of them. First, O.J. Simpson versus the People, an American crime story. This is about, obviously, O.J. Simpson versus the people, and the court case that happened when O.J. obviously killed his wife. We all know he killed her. He killed her. The glove might not have fit, but it made sense that it didn't, because it was like frozen for a while and stuff, and like, no way. So stupid. War and Peace. That was a wonderful BBC miniseries that I loved, with Lily James and Paul Dano. You should watch it. It's based on Leo Tolstoy, and you might think it's going to be boring. It's not. It's beautiful, wonderful. Wolf Hall. That's about King Henry VIII, and no, it's not about King Henry VIII. It's actually about Thomas Cromwell, who was one of the advisors of King Henry VIII. Sounds boring as well. It's not. It's wonderful. There you go. Oh my god. 11/22/63, based on Stephen King, and that's about a guy who's going to go back in time and stop the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I love the book and the miniseries. Queen's Gambit, that's about a chess prodigy back in the 60s, and really good. And how she got her Chesley fame. That's it. Thank you. That doesn't make sense. I hope you enjoyed this. Give me some recommendations for things I recommended or things that I asked you to recommend for. I hope you enjoyed how weird I got towards the end. Ramble. Bye.